Good afternoon. Calling to order the special city council meeting for this Wednesday, April 22nd. We will start with the roll call.
Blessum.
Here.
Fuller.
Here.
Hayes. Here. Janser.
Here.
Olson. Here. Pittner.
Here.
Samuelson.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, item number 3 is a discussion item, and this is related to the, I think it's 1917 3rd Street Northwest water main break, which was the subject of a personal appearance at the city council meeting on Monday, as you're well aware. And there's been a fair amount of correspondence back and forth between people associated with this and the myself and the city attorney, as well as a number of you. And so I think before we decide whether we go into special executive session or not, what we're going to do is have Jason talk for a second about sort of what happened in the event. I think you all should have received a memo from him talking about that, but we'll just so that we have that out here in the meeting. And then I would then ask the city attorney to sort of outline kind of where things stand from her perspective. So if we can proceed with that, Jason, kind of give us the essence here quickly.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So yeah, like the mayor said, I provided a pretty good written explanation, I think, of what the chain of events that happened on March 17th and then again on March 18th. So unless anybody wants me to go through all that here, or if you guys just want to ask me any questions, I can do it in whichever way you desire.
Okay, everybody good on kind of the narration of what happened and so forth? Okay. All right, no questions for you, Jason. Thank you very much. We'll turn to the city attorney.
Mayor, members of council, so attached to this item is the email thread that I think you've all had some time to kind of review and digest. It sets forth the position that we've taken with this particular resident. This was submitted to our insurance company, the North Dakota Insurance Reserve Fund, and they denied the claim. There is some case law on this in North Dakota that's consistent with cases that are similar to this, where there's a water main break, and they have been in the city's favor. So consistent with our insurance company, the staff recommendation is to also deny this claim. We think that this is it's a really unfortunate situation, but it's not something that the facts are showing creates liability in the city of Minot right now. We did queue this up with an executive session if that's something that the council disagrees with and you want to negotiate some kind of a release of all claims with this particular citizen. My recommendation for that is I think that it's probably premature at this point to start those negotiations because I haven't seen a demand for damages that includes receipts, statements, invoices, whatever the proof of those damages are. Even in court cases, we have to prove what those damages are, and so far I've only heard other people tell me what those damages are, but I haven't seen a statement indicating what those are. So at the very least, if we are going to start some kind of a negotiation on that front, my first request would be that we be afforded time to collect that information from this particular citizen, and that citizen be required to provide that to us so we're not negotiating against ourselves here. So that is my alternative recommendation, is that we ask for those damages up front before we convene into an executive session to entertain that discussion. But initially, I mean, the recommendation from staff is that we follow the same course as our insurance company did and deny the claim outright. If that's the case, I don't know that there's a need for an executive session today on this particular topic.
Okay. Council comments, questions for the city attorney or for Jason as we, Alderman Hayes.
I think if we're setting a bad precedent, if we, I feel bad for Mrs. Nelson of what happened out of anybody's control, but I just feel we're setting a bad precedent by, where does it stop? How far back does it go? How far forward does it go with payments for things that are out of our control?
Alderman Olson.
Thank you. And I was kind of thinking the same thing. I don't recall another request like this where we have gone into negotiations. Do you recall anything, or as you've researched it, anything that would have come up?
Alderwoman Olson, no, not at this particular juncture. Typically, we would have received some kind of a claim, some kind of a threat of suit. We haven't received anything of that nature that I would say is beyond just saying this is something that we're considering. I haven't received correspondence from an attorney or anything of that particular nature.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion. Alderman Pittner.
So are we looking to take any kind of action here as far as like denying that, or are we just saying let's wait and see what happens? What does staff want from us? Because I share the same sentiment. This is life, and again, as unfortunate as it is, it's not due to negligence. I mean, we have aging infrastructure. You set a precedent like this, bust out the checkbook, because this is what all our taxes are going to be going towards is things like this over the course of time. Life sucks sometimes, and again, I sympathize. If it was me or if it was my mother or grandmother that dealt with this, I may have a different feeling, but I would expect the same response. So if there's action that we can take to move this along, to make a formal statement where we are, I think we should be prepared to do that.
City attorney.
Mayor, Alderman Pittner, I think staff would appreciate just entertaining a motion to deny the request from Ms. Nelson, and then staff can communicate that to her.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the staff recommendation to deny this claim based on the decision of the NDERF. Further discussion on the motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Blessam.
Yeah, thank you. One of the very unfortunate parts about this particular situation that can occur, and I believe this isn't the first time, obviously, this happens from time to time, is that there is, for a homeowner, there is no real good way to cover this. Your normal homeowner's policies will not cover it. Any water moving across land is not covered in that way. You can buy national flood insurance, which would cover it, but people on North Hill are not going to buy national flood insurance. And in fact, I'm not positive that an insurance agent, you have to think about whether they have an obligation to offer that to a client, or actually to say, why in the world am I covering you for something that has very little chance of happening? So even an insurance agent is in a very strange place unless someone specifically says, you know what, my sister had this happen, how would I cover myself for this? And then they could look at the National Flood Insurance Program. And that may be a hole in the law. That may be something that could be brought up with the insurance commissioner. There is a very unfortunate hole here that's at play, and I'm very saddened by it. At the same time, I don't see another action we can take other than this one. And I don't like that. I really don't. But it is the situation that we find ourselves in.
Further discussion. Alderman Fuller.
Thank you. This is one of those ones that just sucks. Like, we all know that. I feel bad for Mrs. Nelson. I'm in agreement because going forward, we can't have set a precedent where people can come back on us. But one thing I will say, and we've talked about this, we had some discussion with it, that this happens approximately 1 or 2 times a year. And now there is something out there where we could pick up an insurance rider to carry, so these things would be covered into the future. Am I correct in understanding that? Okay. And my only recommendation, you know, I know we're going to deny this and we're going to turn it down, but my only recommendation then would be for the city to take a serious look at adding that rider to our insurance policy. So if these things do continue to happen around here, because we know it's Minot, North Dakota, we have aging infrastructure, we have frost levels that shift and vary from year to year. I think that's something that would, you know, again, because while we say, okay, they pay their property taxes all these years, but if they never use fire and they never use police and they never use anything else, what were they paying all their property taxes for? If the infrastructure that their taxes are paying for breaks, not of their accord, not of our accord, but breaks, and we can do nothing to help them, I just think the right thing to do here is to help, but we can't. So going forward, I would like to at least see that we've contemplated putting that rider into place so that we can help people if this does happen anymore in our community.
City manager.
Mr. Mayor, Alderman Fuller, and all members of council, yes, we absolutely will look to see if we can get some insurance to cover this in the future.
Further discussion of the motion? All right. Seeing, are we voting on our machine?
I'll call the roll.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Please call the roll, city clerk.
Pittner,
Yes.
Samuelson,
Yes.
Blessam,
Yes.
Fuller, Hayes,
Yes.
Janser,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
All right. Therefore,
Adjourn.
Second.
moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned.